folks. This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed live right here. Yes, I'm live, folks. I'm not live. Is it live or Memorex? Remember that commercial? Yes. Oh my God, I'm dating myself. Anyway, hey, if you date yourself and you go out to dinner, do you go Dutch? I'm just wondering. Anyway, welcome. It's the 1st of October, 2014. This is the Views Express Live. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce. 2 hours of me is not enough, right? Oh, please. So anyway, I am here. I am alive. We are getting on with the show. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. freeamericaradio.us is the website. If you want to email me, please do. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. From Fox News, Secret Service Director Julia Pearson resigns amid recent White House security breach. Naturalnews.com breaking 12 new possible U.S. Ebola infections. And, I put that up there twice, didn't I? Oh, bad me. Okay, let's just take one of those out. From the freethoughtproject.com, California cops can now take your legally owned guns under new Orwellian snitch bill. California governor, this is from the antimedia.org. California governor vetoes bill that would have limited drone use by law enforcement. We'll get into that a little bit later. From salon.com, college is ripping you off. Students are cash cows and schools the predators. Told you about it, folks. Offthegridnews.com, this woman's stunning death may confirm all your suspicions about smart meters. Also, from, I don't know what this is. Hold on, let me go look. Social media ad genius. Who else wants to be spoon-fed the exact recipe for our Facebook advertising success? And, of course, from Twitchy.com, I am lost. Dad who majored in math, is stumped by second graders' Common Core math problem. Okay? Alrighty then. Where do we go from there? Does the... When will the stupidity never end? Okay, I just want to know, can we roll up the sidewalks and close the doors and go home? You know what I'm saying? This is incredible, folks. This is absolutely incredible. So when I come back from the break, you know what? Wait a minute. I'm making an executive decision here. This is my network. I'm not beholden to any advertisers or other networks. So, hey, guess what? We'll go to break at the 20 after mark. How's that? So anyway, what do we got that we can say is our own? No, serious. I'm serious. I want to know from you. freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Or if you're over on the Spreaker side of things, jump into the chat room and say hi, first of all, and then answer this question for me if you can. What can we say? What can we call our own? What can we say is something that we have that no one else, including this corrupt government, can take away from us? What can we call our own? And I think there's a lot of answers to that because people have different perspectives, and that's okay. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Okay. But we also have to look at the idea that people have their own desire for their own things. Now, is that a duh statement? Is that a, oh, duh, yeah, we get it. Everybody has the idea that they must have something or they're not happy. I got to have a job or I'm not going to be happy. Pay my rent. All this and the other thing, right? I got to have that brand new car at the car lot because that's going to make me happy. I want $1 million because that'll make me happy. Have you ever wondered that the material things that we so desire and so strive for will never ever make us happy? Have you thought about that? Have you put that in your little brain? Have you stuck that in the corner of your cranium? Because at some point you're going to realize that materialism isn't the way to go. I don't want to get all spiritual on you because, I don't want to go there with this show. So, that's for another show, actually. So anyway, what can we call our own? And I think it's simple. I think it's simple because we have the tendency to want stuff. We have the tendency to want stuff. Doesn't matter what that stuff is. And we get that stuff and put it in our garage or our house with other stuff that we got. And then we look at it and go, oh, I'll need that later on. But then later on comes and you look at that stuff and you're going, what did I need this for? Now, how does that relate to what's going on in our country and our world? Well, it relates very well, because I'm going to connect a dot for you. And one of the dots is the Rothschild dot. Because the Rothschilds in the United States of America are hand in hand when it comes to partnerships. Now think about this. When you examine and research the Rothschilds for who they are, you will see that their relatives bought the United States of America in 1871. And when I say bought, I put quotes around there. But it literally is the United States of America, specifically Washington, D.C., is nothing more than a corporation ordering all other subsections of that corporation to do their bidding. Okay? Now, I cannot and will not accept anyone else's information when it comes to trying to debunk that. Because I tried, folks. Literally. I looked at it, I looked in history, and I'm examining all of this, and I'm, for years and years and years, tried to put the puzzle pieces together and tried to figure out, hey, well, this is just wrong. Everybody says it's, this. And I tried to debunk it. And guess what? The things you find out when you actually open your mind and your eyes and you begin to see it. Okay? Now, what has this country done? Well, I shouldn't say the country. What has Washington, D.C. done for the benefit of its people? Not a damn thing. Wait. You have the far-left liberal loons who are sitting out there on their ass eating bonbons and watching Oprah and saying, gimme. The government will give me this. The government will give me that. They're playing the government. In other words, they know how to weasel their way in to get the benefits that they want, so they won't have to do a damn thing. And there's always these people that are working And they're working their tails off, trying to support their family, to pay the rent, to pay the mortgage, to pay the utilities, car payment, whatever. And those people are paying out their nose for people sitting on their butts. So now in this socialist regime that we have in Washington, D.C., their idea of equality is spreading the wealth around, taking the rich and gouging them to the nth degree to give part of that money to those sitting on their butts eating bonbons and watching Oprah. I don't like that. Granted, I run this network. I don't make any money. What? Yeah. That's why I ask for donations, folks. I got to keep this thing up and running somehow. I ask for sponsorships. It ain't going to kill your advertising budget, I can tell you that much right now. Or I ask you to go get some emergency food supply at freeamericaradio.us at the top of the page. Because I got to run this network. And I got to grow this network. Much like, here's another segue. Much like the military-industrial complex, I'm not equating myself with them, but the information is that I share with you are the facts, and if I don't have them right away, I can get them and share with you the facts later on. But with the military-industrial complex, we're sending, not we, I don't want to put myself in that category. The military-industrial complex is literally buffaloing and lying to your kids to get them to join because they need other human resources to send over to other countries to fight other countries' civil wars, which, of course, I think is totally and absolutely stupid. Okay? But you look at it from your perspective and you tell me. So it grows. The military-industrial complex grows because we allowed it to take on a life of its own. And because of that, we have held to this, or some of us, not all of us, held to this thought of, yes, they're doing the right thing to keep us free. No, they're not. Let me give you a reality check that won't bounce. The only way this country is ever going to be free by means of protecting and defending our shores is if we have every single last one of our military personnel in the United States of America on all borders at both shores. Not fighting someone else's civil war. Period. Our freedom is defended by our own people, by our own military, in our own land, at our shores and borders, period. That is defending our rights. That is having the military defending our lifestyles, our government, our people. The military-industrial complex needs to be really revamped. I'll give you a prime example. Back in 1861, the secession of Confederate President Jefferson Davis in the South and the Union President Abraham Lincoln in the North. Now, was that a false flag event? Did that happen for a reason? Blah, blah, blah. I don't know, but here's my point. You had people literally standing up for what they believed in on both sides of the aisle, right? We had a civil war in this continent. There were two separate nations in this continent. Okay? Now, what did they do? We didn't see other countries come here to help defend the North or the South. I could be wrong about that. I think there was something in the South that they were doing, but I'm not sure, so correct me on that if I'm wrong. But we had young men as young as 14, 15, 16 years old picking up rifles and going out and fighting for the North. I should know I had 3 members of my family on my dad's side in the Union Army. I can tell you this right now, that when the military-industrial complex, as we know it today in the 20th century, goes to another country, what are they going to do? They're going to call upon you, parents, to say, hey, would your child like to go and defend its nation? No. No. We defended this country within its borders for probably, some would say, all the wrong reasons in 1861 to 1865. But that is the closest that we got to being torn apart by our own people who had differing opinions. Match that with the differing opinions of those that say we're not going to send our sons and daughters to other countries to defend the American freedom. No. What you parents need to do, and even you former military people need to do, is defend this nation from enemies foreign and domestic. Did you not raise your hand and pledge that? I know Marines who've been out, they've been, civilians for years, and they say, no, I'm still a Marine. My cousin is the same way. He lives in Colorado. I got a cousin who lives in Texas. Let me make my point before the break. I set the premise for this. We know who we are as a nation. Why the hell are we sending people over to other countries to fight in their civil wars? You know what I'm saying? When all of our military, all of them everywhere around the world need to be in the United States. And why is the premise, we're going to other countries to fight for our freedoms because they may come over here? Folks, ISIS is already in the United States of America. What are you going to do about it? They didn't penetrate our southern border. The freaking thing was open and they just walked on through. I'm sick and tired of it, folks. We have a nation to defend. Stop thinking so materialistic and thinking, I made $1,000 this week. I'm going to make $2,000 next week. No, shut up. We have a country to defend. Or else you ain't got a job and you ain't making money. Do you understand me? Okay? Get rid of your thoughts of materialism and look at the nation as a whole and ask yourself, am I able to help defend this nation? I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what political affiliation you have. You are a human being in the nation of the United States of America. Start acting like it, damn it. I'm going to go to break. I'll be back. Don't wait until another natural or man-made disaster strikes. Have at least 72 hours of emergency gear near you at all times, and that includes food. Get your emergency food supply today. Go to freeamericaradio.us and at the top of the page, click on the emergency food supply link. Help your family by purchasing as much emergency food supply as you need. You'll be helping out your family and Free America Radio Network. Thank you. Catch up on the latest news and controversy and more on The Spencer Hughes Show on Spreaker.com and SpencerHughes.net. telling you the truth without all the bull. The Wayne S. Pierce Show. The WayneSPierceShow.weebly.com. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Free America Radio Network, freeamericaradio.us. This is the Views Expressed Live. How are ya? Can we just push the reset button on this game? Seriously? Can we? Oh my goodness. Holy crap. Fox News is reporting, thank you Fox News, on Secret Service Director resigns after security failures. This thing's going to play automatically, I know it is. Damn it, there we go. Fox News, thank you, foxnews.com. Secret Service Director Julia Pearson resigned Wednesday after a security breach at the White House and other high-profile incidences raised widespread concerns about the safety of the president and his family. Secretary of Homeland Security, what? Excuse me, I misread that. Secretary of Homeland Security Jay Johnson announced the resignation in the written statement, and the White House confirmed her decision shortly afterward. President Obama, quote, concluded new leadership of that agency was required, unquote, White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest said. Johnson said, quote, today, Julia Pearson, the director of the United States Secret Service, offered her resignation, and I accepted. I salute her 30 years of distinguished service to the Secret Service and the nation, unquote. A source familiar with the situation told Fox News that Johnson told Pearson the resignation would be effective immediately after she offered it. She basically said, hey, boss, I quit. He goes, okay, and she left. The resignation comes days after the September 19th incident where an intruder jumped over the White House fence and darted past several layers of security to enter the White House itself. He was able to make it to the East Room before being apprehended. Pearson's departure, though, marked a sharp turnaround from a day earlier when, despite her rocky performance during a congressional testimony, the White House voiced support for her leadership. Asked Tuesday whether Obama had confidence in the director, Earnest said, absolutely. But on Wednesday, the director was facing bipartisan calls to step down. Representative Elijah Cummings, top Democrat on the committee that grilled Pearson, notably told NPR she is, quote, not the person to lead that agency, unquote. Though he later clarified he thinks she should go if she can't restore public trust. Asked what had changed to lead to her resignation, if I could talk, Earnest said foremost that Pearson had offered her resignation. But he also said Wednesday that, quote, recent and accumulating reports, unquote, raised, quote, unquote, legitimate questions about the agency. Earnest said Obama agrees that Pearson's resignation is in the best interest of the agency. Among those reports was the revelation on the September 16th a security contractor armed with a gun who had previously been arrested for assault rode on an elevator with Obama and his security detail at the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention in Atlanta, violating Secret Service protocol. Earnest said the president only learned about that incident on Tuesday. New and alarming details also emerged, seemingly by the day, about the multiple security failures in the September 19th intrusion. Not until late Monday was it reported that he had made it into the East Room. A detail was confirmed by Pearson during her testimony. Johnson said he's appointing Joseph Clancy, a former special agent in charge of the Presidential Protective Division who retired in 2011, as interim director. September 19th incident involving a Texas Army veteran who jumped the White House fence and was able to make it deep into the executive mansion before being stopped is now just one of the several embarrassing disclosures about lapses in the presidential security involving the Secret Service. Despite more than 3 hours of questioning by White House lawmakers on Tuesday, Pearson neglected to mention the incident in Atlanta. Her failure to do so prompted Representative Jason Chavez, a Republican of Utah, to call for Pearson's resignation or firing in an interview with Fox News Tuesday night. In a statement on Wednesday, Chavez welcomed the decision to step down and urged the president to fill the post with, quote, new leadership from outside the Secret Service for a fresh start, unquote. At Tuesday's hearing, Pearson said that she was the one who briefs Obama on threats to his personal security and said she had briefed him only once this year, quote, for the September 19th incident, unquote. She also disclosed that shortly before the alleged intruder, Omar J. Gonzalez, scaled the fence, at least two of her uniformed officers recognized him from an earlier troubling encounter, but did not approach him or report his presence to superiors. Lawmakers were aghast, too, about a 4-hour delay in 2011 before the Secret Service realized a man had fired a high-powered rifle at the White House, as reported by the Washington Post on Sunday. Pearson told the hearing the security plan for protecting the White House was not, quote-unquote, properly executed. On September 19th, the Secret Service's story about the extent of that breach changed late Monday night after the Washington Post first reported that Gonzalez got well past the front door of the White House. Previously, it had said Gonzalez had been stopped just inside the front door. After hours of questioning Tuesday, it remained unclear what and when Pearson and Johnson knew about the incident. The Secret Service is part of the Homeland Security Department. The September 19th breach was the latest black eye for the agency. Pearson was originally brought in last year after the 2012 prostitution scandal in Colombia. Gonzalez was indicted Tuesday and pleaded not guilty on Wednesday before Magistrate Judge Deborah A. Robinson in U.S. District Court. Thank you, Fox News. And my view is this. I feel that this is best for the Secret Service because the Secret Service is laxed in a lot of their areas. Okay? How did this guy literally jump over the fence without cameras or anybody else going after him? Well, now that security's beefed up, I don't think anybody's going to jump over that fence anytime soon. I also want to say this. Now, I know that this might sound a little strange, but I think the military should be all around the White House. Secret Service should be out in the street, should be out, doing their thing inside the White House. The military needs to be on the outside of that White House, inside of the fence. That's where they need to be. Folks, take a little break here at the bottom of the hour that I usually do, so I shall return. Don't go away. Go to the Wayne S. Pierce Show, the freeamericaradio.us website, freeamericaradio.us. Contribute if you like. Get your emergency food supply there. And also, if you want to sponsor the show, you can. Just email me. It's not going to break your advertising budget, that's for sure. freeamericaradio.us. Telling you the truth without all the bull. The Wayne S. Pierce Show. The Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. You're listening to the views expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network.
Samo Radio. Playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Showing you who's behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. And this is the Views Expressed live right here for the 1st of October 2014. Can you believe it's October already? Holy crap, what happened? Where did the time go, man? It was just like, poof, it's gone. Hello. I mean, I just had my birthday a few months ago, and it's like, what? It felt like last week. What? What's going on? DrudgeReport.com. I went over there, clicked on this. Dallas parents fearing Ebola remove children from school. And this was from, let me see here, from the StarTelegram.com. Parents on Wednesday were removing their children from a Dallas school where a student may have had contact with the Ebola patient diagnosed Tuesday. A letter to parents of children at L.L. Hotchkiss Elementary School, 6929 Town North Drive, says in part, quote, "This morning we were made aware that one of our students may have had contact with an individual who was recently diagnosed with the Ebola virus. The student is currently not showing any symptoms and is under close observation by the Dallas County Health and Human Services Department. As a precautionary measure, the student has been advised to stay home from school. Since this student is not presenting any symptoms, there is nothing to suggest that the disease was spread to others, including students and staff," unquote. At a news conference at noon Wednesday, Dallas Independent School District Superintendent Mike Miles said students attending 4 different Dallas Independent School District schools possibly have been exposed to Ebola virus. He said the district was informed the 5 students were in contact with the Ebola patient over the weekend. They have been in school since, but are now at home and likely will be kept there for 21 days. Dallas County is working with the Centers for Disease Control to have quote-unquote boots on the ground to monitor those who might have been exposed, officials say. WFAA's Sebastian Robertson is reporting that concerned parents are picking up their children from school where one of the students may have attended. The Ebola patient was visiting a neighborhood where 33 languages are spoken. Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins, Dallas County Judge Clay Jenkins said. Now I'm going to put this on the Free America Radio Facebook page because this is news. Have we had something like this before? A pandemic? Yeah, pretty much. You can look back in history and see it all. What can we do about it? I don't know, but the EPA says, wash your hands. What? Yeah. The EPA says, just wash your hands, you'll be fine. Yeah. Let's go here, shall we? CNBC.com, what preppers are doing about Ebola. Chris Norris over there at CNBC. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate that. All these stories and headlines come from other places, so I give them credit. And if there is an author to the article, I go ahead and just give them credit for it. I hate when those videos start by themselves. What preppers are doing about Ebola. The so-called prepper community has a long list of concerns. Excuse me. And for quite some time, Ebola has been near the top of it. Experts, though, are split on whether the confirmation of the disease has entered the U.S. will spur a rush of equipment sales. Even as awareness of doomsdayers grows, thanks to a reality series on the National Geographic Channel, sales of supplies like canned goods and hand-cranked flashlights had actually begun to level off before Tuesday. And since Ebola has been on the community's radar for so long, many people have already stocked up. Quote, I think that a lot of people who are involved in the preparedness community already have the supplies to handle a wide variety of crises, unquote, says Daisy Luther, who runs the Organic Prepper blog. Quote, many of us do keep pandemic supplies on hand. Things like nitrile gloves, N95 and N100 masks, and sanitation supplies. Others who have been aware of the need but who have not yet made the purchases will very likely be on Amazon ordering the necessary supplies just in case this does turn into a pandemic. People with closer ties to the survivalist retail world, though, say they do expect to see some kind of sales bump. Early figures from Amazon bear this out. As of Wednesday, sales of a type of full-body protective suits were up 131,000%, and sales for one type of mask had risen 18,000% in 24 hours. Amazon does not give actual sales figures. Has the Ebola diagnosis inspired you to stock up on supplies? We've been stocking up on supplies for quite some time. And when you click on that, I'll put this on the Free America Radio Facebook page, but when you click on that, answer that question, right now 27% say yes, and that equals the no, and no meaning people need to stop overreacting. Well, okay. Then show me why I need to stop overreacting, and we'll go from there. Whoops. I didn't put that up there, did I? There we go. The question I think that is on everybody's mind is this ever going to end? Is the U.S. going to stop this in its tracks? I can tell you right now, I don't know. I don't know, but we better prep. We better do something. And if we walk around in in a full body protective suit, then we have to do that. But I don't know if this is ever going to end. If it, gets worse, literally, God help us all. But let's just hope that within the next few weeks, this can at least come to an end at some point. I want to go here to Reuters.com. Israel's Netanyahu to Obama. Don't allow Iran deal that leaves it at nuclear threshold. Don't allow Iran deal that leaves it at nuclear threshold. Matt Spedalnik over there at Reuters.com. Actually from Washington, over there at Reuters.com. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu bluntly told U.S. President Barack Obama on Wednesday that he must make sure that any final nuclear deal with Iran does not leave it at the threshold of being able to develop nuclear weapons. Even as Netanyahu pressed Obama over Iran in the White House talks, the president urged the Israeli leader to help find ways to prevent Palestinian civilian casualties like those inflicted in the recent Gaza war between Israel and Hamas militants. Netanyahu's visit was clouded by word of Israel's approval of the planned construction of more than 2,600 shelter homes in mostly Arab East Jerusalem. The White House said the matter came up in the leaders' closed-door talks and warned that it would draw international condemnation, quote-unquote, poison the atmosphere with the Palestinians as well as Arab countries and call into question Israel's commitment to peace. Meeting for the first time in the 8 months, the two leaders, who have history of strained relations, avoided any direct verbal clash during a brief press appearance and even seemed in sync over the fight against the Islamic State militants. But they were unable to hide their differences on some of the issues that have stoked tension between them. Underscoring Israeli misgivings at the critical junction in nuclear talks between Iran and world powers, Netanyahu made clear that he remains at odds with Obama about the course of international negotiations with Israel's regional arch foe. Quote, as you know, Mr. President, Iran seeks a deal that would lift the tough sanctions that you worked so hard to put in place and leave it as a threshold nuclear power, unquote, Netanyahu said. Quote, I firmly hope under your leadership that would not happen, unquote. I'll put this one up on Free America Radio Facebook page as well. So, it's interesting to see all of this play out. It really is. And I'll tell you why, it's real simple. There has never been peace in the Middle East whatsoever. And there never will be. Not until the two that are arguing realize they shouldn't even be arguing. Well, that's a duh statement. Well, how's that ever going to happen, right? Years and 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 centuries ago, two half-brothers got pissed off at one another. One wanted something that the other one had, the other one wasn't going to give it up, and the other one got pissed off, and there you go. That's what they're fighting about, but they don't know this anymore because for thousands of years, they've been fighting over territory, they've been fighting over this, they had to find some way. But here, the current... The current country we know as Israel is not what was talked about in biblical times. Let me say that again. Israel right now is not the country that we think it is. It's a manufactured country. and was put together by plans after World War II, culminating in its creation in 1947 and recognition by the UN as well. It's a creation of elites who needed a scapegoat, a shadow to fight with. And so the elites got together and created Israel. Now, I could be totally wrong about that. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. But now check this out. Netanyahu is prime minister of a country that has been known to harbor terrorists. Interesting. Oh, that's not all. Israel has been known to terrorize other countries. I wonder who. Oh, yeah, Palestine. By the way, there is no Palestine. There's no country of Palestine as we know it, because that is another creation of the odd man out, let's say, within this whole idea of, we're going to create an enemy and go fight him because, whatever reason. So there's that. There's no Palestinian country. And if you talk to and research and do your investigation on the Palestinian people, they are more apt in some reports to be the owners of Israel. Okay? See, Prime Minister Netanyahu is a neocon 10 times over. And he doesn't care. I mean, it's just, I'm going to wipe out Palestine. That's his whole ideal, right? He's going to wipe out that country. See? So we have all that going on in the Middle East. We have we have so much going on, folks. So much. And it really boils down to who is going to basically rule the roost. Okay? Okay? Now here's a problem. Here's a problem that we all need to see. And I'm holding, all of this in front of your face for you to see this, because this is something that we all need to be aware of, because this may happen with the rest of the country. Matt Agorist over at thefreethoughtproject.com writes this: California cops can now take your legally owned guns under new Orwellian snitch bill. Under a new California law, which is sure to be rife with abuse, police can confiscate lawfully owned weapons. The only justification police need to seize legally owned private property will be a family member or law enforcement officer claiming that the person may commit gun violence. Quote, the new gun violence restraining order, go to startpage.com, look that up. Gun violence restraining order law will give families and law enforcement a needed tool to reduce the risk of mass shootings and gun violence both in the home and on our streets, unquote, said Nick and Amanda Wilcox, legislative co-chairs of the California chapters of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. Under the so-called gun violence restraining order in the court system, immediate family members and law enforcement agencies could ask a judge to order guns temporarily removed from certain individuals. Of course, it has wide support from all levels of law enforcement agencies. Really? The legislation was introduced as a reactionary measure to the tragedy which occurred in May of this year, Elliot Rogers, a spoiled Hollywood brat and psychopath, went on a shooting rampage which left 6 dead and 13 injured. Because of the actions of a single sick individual, Californians will become less free. This is, after all, the nature of the U.S. police state, to react to situations by stripping Americans of their freedoms. I'm going to put this up on Free America Radio Facebook page for you to take a gander at. Actually, it's already up there. California cops can now take your legally owned guns under a new Orwellian snitch bill. You see, folks, it comes down to this. They want absolute control. Absolute control. No questions, no doubts, no nothing. You will do exactly what they tell you to do. Period. End of sentence. Done. Don't rebel. Oh, and if that's not all, from the antimedia.org, California governor vetoes bill that would have limited drone use by law enforcement. Sacramento, California, the 30th of September 2014, California Democratic Governor Jerry Brown recently vetoed a bill passed in the California legislature to regulate the use of drones by law enforcement, AB 1327, which would have required a warrant for the government to conduct drone surveillance, passed in both the State Assembly and the Senate, would have also mandated that agencies publicly announce their intent to buy and use drones. They would have been required to delete data of most users after a year's time. Brown vetoed the legislation, arguing that, and this is what Jerry Brown said, quote, there are undoubtedly circumstances where a warrant is appropriate. The bill's exception, however, appeared to be too narrow and could impose requirements beyond what is required by either the Fourth Amendment or the privacy provisions in the California Constitution, unquote. I'm going to post this up on it's already on Free America Radio. That's where I got it. California governor vetoes bill that would have limited drone use by law enforcement. It's very simple, folks. And I'm going to say this. I've written this many times on Facebook already. California is a police state. California is now under the policies of Agenda 21 from the United Nations. California is done. California is history. California is finished. And guess whose fault it is, people? The citizens of California. Think about that one for a minute. Now, I know that some of you are going to email me, I know this, and say California's not that bad. Folks, I was born and raised in Stockton, California. I know exactly how bad it truly is down there. Okay? That's Stockton. That's not the rest of California. Really? Okay, the little small towns like Burson or Lodi or something like that are quite fine. But then you get the spillover. I should know. I used to work closely with the San Joaquin County Sheriff's Office. And you get spillovers from gangs in other counties. So, yeah, I know the violence on the street. Now, moving on. Now, I've talked about this before, too, and I want to reiterate something and really drive this point home. Every single person with a school loan that is over 20 years old should immediately have it written off, period. Now, I get emails and I get phone calls. We can get, you won't have to pay a dime if this and whatever. You get those emails, right? Every single school loan should be written off if they are 20 years old or older. Period. Why? Here's why. Salon.com. Thomas Frank wrote this. Thank you, Thomas. College is ripping you off. Students are cash cows and schools the predators. Higher ed is sold as the key to an affluent life. It's really a big business designed to leave you buried in debt. Yes, it is, period. Okay? This essay starts with utopia known as the American University. It is the finest educational institution in the world, everyone tells us. Indeed, to judge by the praise that is heaped upon it, the American University may be our best institution, period. With its peaceful quadrangles and prosperity-bringing innovation. The university is more spiritually satisfied than the church, more nurturing than the family, more productive than any industry. The university deals in dreams. Like other utopias, like Walt Disney World, like the ambrosial lands shown in perfume advertisements, like the competitive Valhalla of the Olympics, the university is a place of wish fulfillment and infinite possibilities. It is the 4-year luxury cruise that will transport you gently across the Gulf of Class. It is the wrought iron gateway to the land of lifelong affluence. It is not the university itself that tells us these things. Everybody does. It is the President of the United States. It is our most respected political commentators and economists. It is our business heroes and our sports heroes. It is our favorite teacher and our guidance counselor and maybe even our own Tiger Mom. They've been to the university after all. They know. When we reach the end of high school, we approach the next life, the university life, in the manner of children writing letters to Santa. Oh, we promise to be so very good. We open our hearts to the beloved institution. We get good grades. We do our best to stand on standardized tests. We earnestly list our first, second, third choices. We tell them what we want to be when we grow up. We confide our wishes. We stare at the stock photos of smiling students. We visit the campus. We find always that it is very beautiful. And when that fat acceptance letter comes, oh, it is the greatest moment of personal vindication most of us have experienced. Our hard work has paid off. Then, several years pass, and one day we wake up to discover there is no Santa Claus. Somehow we have been had. We are $100,000 in debt, and there is no clear way to escape it. We have no prospects to speak of, and if those damn dreams of ours happen to have taken a particular fantastic turn and urged us to get a PhD, then the learning really begins. Go back to the beginning, back to the days when people first understood a character-building college diploma to be the ticket to middle-class success. I'm going to put this on the Free America Radio Facebook page. Why is it we need a higher education to achieve a middle-class lifestyle? I never could understand that, folks. I never could understand that. Why do we need a higher education to achieve middle-class status? It doesn't make any sense. People have gone and they've achieved greatness. Great, wonderful, fantastic, awesome. Virtual high five to those people. But for the majority of the people leaving high school, they got no chance, man. They got no chance. The first thing that happens when you go to that campus is, let's go to financial aid. What they're really saying is, hey, this is going to be a 4-year college, and we're going to put you in massive debt. So when you graduate, you're not going to be able to pay that sucker back. And it's probably going to go into default because you're not going to have the money in the career that you chose to pay this sucker off. And it's going to screw up your credit. And you're not going to be able to get a house. You're not going to be able to get a car. You're not going to be able to get an apartment. You're not going to be able to do anything. And you're going to be living with your mama in your basement, trying to figure out how to pay off this $100,000 piece of debt. So I believe that all student loans should be abolished. No, I mean it. Why should your mama and daddy, no disrespect to your mom and dad, have to deal with your butt in college and have to rely on the government to pay for your education? I remember listening to some of the people that I went to school with years ago, and I can tell you this much. These people I know worked their way through college. And that's what they did. They worked their way through college. Folks, it's the top of the hour. Why don't I go to break? I'll shut up now and get back into that when I get back. FreeAmericaRadio.us. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Online at thelibertybeat.com. I'm Brian Hagan with your Liberty Beat for Wednesday, October 1st, 2014. Gold opened today at $1,208. Silver opened to $17.28. And Bitcoin is trading around $381.59. Today's Bitcoin price is brought to you by ExpressCoin, the fastest and most reliable way to buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin today at expresscoin.com. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. Vote Michael Cargill to get the cars moving. Learn more or sign up to volunteer at cargillfortexas.com. Political advertisement paid for by the Michael Cargill for Austin City Council District 1 campaign. In the news today, the first case of Ebola diagnosed in the United States was confirmed yesterday in a patient who recently traveled from Liberia to Dallas, a sign of the far-reaching impact of the out-of-control epidemic in West Africa. The unidentified man was critically ill and has been in isolation at Texas Health Presbyterian Hospital in Dallas, Texas since Sunday. That's word from federal health officials. They would not reveal his nationality or age. On Tuesday, California Governor Jerry Brown signed into law a bill that would allow the temporary seizure of guns from individuals who the courts deem to be a threat to themselves or others. Under the new law, law enforcement officers can ask courts for restraining orders, which would bar the individual from possessing a firearm for 21 days. The measure was supported by Democrats and anti-gun groups and opposed by the NRA and gun owners of California. Charles H. Cunningham, a director with the NRA's Institute for Legislative Action, called the law one of the most egregious violations of civil liberties ever introduced in the California legislature. China's government has cut off news about Hong Kong's pro-democracy protests to the rest of the country, a clampdown so thorough that no image of the rallies has appeared in state-controlled media, and at least one man has been detained for reposting accounts of the events. By contrast, media in semi-autonomous Hong Kong have been broadcasting non-stop about the crowds, showing unarmed students fending off tear gas and pepper spray with umbrellas, as they call for more representative democracy in the former British colony. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from Cabo Bob's, Southwestern-style burritos, now with 2 locations in Austin, 500 East Bend White Boulevard and 2828 Rio Grande Boulevard. Find them online, cabobobs.com. And support comes from Sovereign Living, a podcast, blog, and reality show about what it takes to live a voluntary and natural life. Check out the blog at sovereignliving.com and watch episode 1 of the soon-to-be-released reality show at sovereignliving.tv. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, October 1st, 2014. Check out the website at thelibertybeat.com and like us on Facebook, facebook.com/The Liberty Beat. The Federal Communications Commission chairman will consider a petition that asks the agency to consider fining broadcasters with the National Football League who continue to use the Redskins name when referring to the Washington football team. Activist John Banzoff III has registered a petition with the FCC asking the regulatory agency to strip Washington radio station WWXX-FM of its broadcasting license for using what he says is a racist and hateful word. If the FCC agrees with the petition, broadcasters would be punished for using the football team name. The Washington Redskins is also currently battling the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office after they canceled the team's trademark registration based on alleged racism. A new study published in the journal JAMA Pediatrics indicates that frequent prescribing of broad-spectrum antibiotics increases the risk of obesity in children. The study found that babies who were given broad-spectrum antibiotics in the first 2 years of life were more likely to be obese between their 2nd and 5th birthdays than those children who had taken no antibiotics or narrow-spectrum antibiotics. While broad-spectrum antibiotics are found to be highly effective, they can also kill off beneficial bacteria the body needs. The study examined medical records of nearly 65,000 babies and children from the Philadelphia area. The increased risk of obesity was about 11% higher for children who had taken antibiotics versus those who did not. Today's edition of the Liberty Beat is brought to you by Brave New Books, your source for One World Way, Tangy Tangerine, and clearly filtered fluoride filters. Located in Austin, Texas at 1904 Guadalupe Street, or find them online at bravenewbookstore.com. This is the Liberty Beat for Wednesday, October 1st, 2014. I'm Brian Hagan reporting, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hey folks, how you doing? This is the Free America Radio Network. This is the Views Expressed Live. I am your host, Reverend Wayne S. Pierce, for the 1st of October, 2014. I am glad you're listening to me. Hey, if you were with me in the first hour, thank you. And if you are sticking around, thank you. Appreciate that. FreeAmericaRadio.us is the website. Go there and contribute as much as you like. Please. Thank you. Go to Free America Radio on Facebook. The email address, if you have any comments, questions, concerns, or even if you disagree with me, is freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com. Now, I want to go here on Free America Radio Facebook page, but I want to preface it by saying this. Some people say that this could not happen. Some people say that this article is full of errors. They say, and I've heard that from people who actually have smart meters on their house, but nothing is wrong with them. Yeah, right. Do you know what EMF poisoning is? Electromagnetic frequency poisoning is? I don't want to say poisoning, but it disrupts a lot of stuff, folks. From offthegridnews.com, this woman's death may confirm all your suspicions about smart meters. Daniel Jennings over at offthegridnews.com wrote this. Thank you, Dan. Smart meters may be linked to a series of house fires and one death in 2 Nevada communities. The fire chief of the towns have asked the State Public Utilities Commission to launch an investigation, which it is doing. Reno, Nevada Fire Chief Michael Henderson and Sparks, Nevada Fire Chief Tom Garrison say they know of 9 fires which could have been caused by smart meters. A 61-year-old woman was fatally burned in one of them, the Reno Gazette-Journal reported. That's right here in the town I'm broadcasting from, folks. A North Carolina company, Census, makes the meters in question. Quote, based on physical evidence, the Census meters cannot be eliminated as the ignition source, unquote. Forensic investigator Andrew Thorson wrote of a blaze that killed Michelle Sherman, 61. Quote, data tends to suggest the meter may have failed, unquote. The city of Reno hired Thorson to investigate the fire and the possibility that a smart meter manufactured by Census and installed by NV Energy, the local power company, started the fire in Sherman's townhome on Rhinestone Circle in Reno. The official cause of the fire has not yet been determined. Concern is widespread. Quote, yes, it's a small number, but as fire chief, when I start to see a pattern, it gets my attention, unquote, Henderson said at of the smart meters. Quote, that's why we are red flagging this and reporting it to the proper people who regulate this kind of thing, unquote. The chiefs are suspicious of the meters because in 7 of the fires, only the meter itself and the surrounding wall was destroyed. Another incident in Reno also points to smart meters as the cause. There, a smart meter burst into flames when a man flipped the breaker switch. His face was burned, but he was able to douse the blaze with a fire extinguisher. State investigating meters. Nevada's Public Utilities Commission has agreed to investigate the smart meters, and an attorney ordered NV Energy to turn over all documents related to the fires and the meters. Quote, given the lingering safety questions presented by the Reno and Sparks Fire Department's experts, staff believes it would be prudent to gather some information from NV Energy regarding any fires which have occurred where NV Energy equipment may have been involved, unquote, PUC lawyer Tammy Cordova wrote. Not everybody is convinced that the smart meters are a menace. Nevada State Fire Marshal Peter Mulvihill, thinks the gadgets are safe, although he said that the new fires warrant an investigation. NV Energy, which has installed 1.1 million meters, also defends their safety. Quote, based on the conclusion of the third-party investigation into this tragic incident, the electric meter did not cause the fire, unquote, NV Energy spokeswoman Faye Anderson noted in a written statement. Quote, the safety of our customers, our employees, and our equipment is paramount to us. This investigation has been a priority since it was brought to our attention, and we have cooperated fully with the Reno Fire Department, unquote. The Gazette Journal editorial support the new investigation, saying, quote, previous investigations into the cause of the fires have been insufficient and that there may be a problem that needs quick action to ensure individuals and property aren't in danger, unquote. I'll put this one up on, or is it already there? Yes, it's already there on Free America Radio on Facebook. Let me go back here and quote this person again. Faye Anderson. Based on the conclusion of the third-party investigation into this tragic incident, the electric meter did not cause the fire. Really? But now let's go down here. The safety of our customers, our employees, and our equipment is paramount to us. This investigation has been a priority since it was brought to our attention, and we have cooperated fully with the Reno Fire Department. Really? Really? She's made that statement. It's safe. The smart meters did not cause these fires or the death of that 61-year-old woman. No. But the investigation is still going on, and we are completely, we are cooperating fully in all of this, right? Okay. Okay. Not just Nevada. A number of utilities in both the United States and Canada are removing smart meters because of potential fire damage. The Gazette Journal noted the incidents of meter removal include one, Portland General Electric in Oregon announced it would replace 70,000 smart meters after 3 house fires. The second one is in July, the provincial government of Saskatchewan ordered utility SaskPower to remove 105,000 smart meters from homes and businesses following 8 unexplained fires, the CBC reported. Quote, the concerns about safety are paramount here, unquote. Bill Boyd, the Canadian province's minister responsible for energy and resources, told the press, quote, the concerns are significant enough that we believe that any time that families are at risk here in Saskatchewan, actions have to be taken. That's why we've directed SaskPower accordingly. Lakeland, the next one is Lakeland Electric in Lakeland, Florida, will replace 10,657 residential smart meters. The utility's general manager, Joel Ivey, told the Ledger newspaper that there is a danger of the devices overheating. 6 fires in the Lakeland area are blamed on the meters. The next one, Petco Energy in Philadelphia, removed 186,000 smart meters in 2012 because of fire concerns. Fires sparked by smart meters can be dangerous because they often start outside of the house and cannot be detected by smoke detectors, Garrison said. Quote, it can burn a long time and enter the attic or the walls, unquote, Garrison said of a smart meter blaze. Quote, the occupants inside may not even be aware the house is on fire. This is very alarming to me, unquote. And yeah, folks, there you go. So I'm going to say this about smart meters. Dump them. Dump them. Just get rid of them. They're high EMF. Go check them out. If you know, I have a background in construction and electrical, working for an electrical contractor, and also have a background in electronics because that's what I work on. And I know what EMF is. Why don't you ask an electronics whiz, an electrician as well, to come to your house if you have a smart meter and put their EMF detector next to it, okay? You're going to find that this thing is way up there, okay? Oh, and by the way, just to let you know, this is not a conspiracy theory, by the way. This is pure fact because it is on record that the newer smart meters in general, basically, but the newer ones, yeah, they know what's going on inside your house every time you do something. Oh, yeah, they know. Oh, believe me, they know. Why do you think they want LED lights? Why do you think they want certain electrical outlets to be a certain way? Why do you think that new homes are built with certain elements in it? Because the government wants to know what you're doing. Okay, and no, I'm just generalizing in that, but it's not a conspiracy theory. Go look it up. Go look it up, startpage.com. Okay, it's right there, folks. it's right there. It's staring you in the face, and if you want to continue to ignore it, you go right ahead and do that. Well, I was going to take you to another article, but here's this one. Michelle Malkin, you know her, usually does commentary on Fox News, from Twitchy.com. From Twitchy.com, yes. What do you folks think about Common Core? Because I think it's a mess. It's the stupidest thing on the face of this planet. From Twitchy.com, I am lost. Dad who majored in math is stumped by second graders' Common Core math problem. Yeah. The article is there on Free America Radio on Facebook. Yeah. Common Core is stupid. Okay? Just absolutely stupid. Okay? I don't know when are people going to get their head out of their ass? When are they going to wise up and see what's going on here? Well, our government knows exactly what to do, and they're helping us, and they're doing the best they can. Really? Really? Yeah, and the Secret Service can't keep people from climbing the fence and going into the White House. Okay, the guy jumped the fence, went to the front door of the White House, went in, and got to a certain room before he was stopped. And you're trusting this government with your education, with your children's education? Are you out of your freaking mind? They can't even protect the damn president. Oh, and by the way, did you know that the IRS is going to fine you if you don't get health insurance? Excuse me? What? Can we just, find some sanity in all of this? Barry Goldwater, most of you who are over 50 know who that is. Barry Goldwater said, "The time has come to recognize the United Nations for the anti-American, anti-freedom organization that it has become. The time has come for us to cut off all financial help, withdraw as a member, and ask the United Nations to find headquarters location outside of the United States that is more in keeping with their philosophy of the majority of voting members someplace like Moscow or Peking," which is now Beijing, China. I remember when they changed the name. Yes, that brings me to this article. I mentioned the headline at the beginning of the show, but here it is, thefreethoughtproject.com. I talked about this a little bit in the first hour, but I want to get to it here. Matt Agarist over at the freethoughtproject.com. California cops can now take your legally owned guns under a new Orwellian snitch bill. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute, folks. The only justification police need to seize legally owned private property will be a family member or a law enforcement officer claiming that a person may commit gun violence. What? Excuse me. What? Quote, "The new gun violence restraining order law will give families and law enforcement a needed tool to reduce the risk of mass shootings and gun violence both in the home and on our streets," unquote, said Nick and Amanda Wilcox, legislative co-chairs of the California chapters of the Brady Campaign to Prevent Gun Violence. Under the so-called gun violence restraining order in the court system, immediate family members and law enforcement agencies could ask a judge to order guns temporarily removed from certain individuals. Of course, it has wide support from all levels of law enforcement agencies. The legislation was introduced as a reactionary measure to a tragedy which occurred in May of this year. Elliot Rogers, a spoiled Hollywood brat and psychopath, went on a shooting rampage which left 6 dead and 13 injured. Because of the actions of a single sick individual, Californians will become less free. This is, after all, the nature of the U.S. police state, to react to situations by stripping Americans of their freedoms. Sure, on the surface, this seems like a rational idea, but no one wants a crazed maniac with a death wish to have guns. However, the incidences of mass shootings are so rare that it's a complete crapshoot of whether or not this Orwellian law will prevent anything at all. California already has some of the toughest handgun restrictions in the U.S. Gun owners must pass a state and federal background check. They then must wait 10 days after the purchase of a handgun before they can pick it up at a store. There are also several other laws on the books to prevent dangerous and unstable people from obtaining firearms. Really? Despite these already strict laws, the diagnosis of Asperger's syndrome, Rogers... get this. Despite these already strict laws and diagnosis with Asperger's syndrome, Rogers was still able to discreetly purchase 3 handguns and kill people. We've witnessed time and again that sick criminals who want to kill will kill, and the laws which try and stop them only hinder the freedoms of those who've never and will never commit a crime. What this law will do, however, is encourage family members to trust in the state rather than themselves. It promotes snitching to authorities and is wide open for abuse. It is no mistake that this snitch culture is the subject of so many dystopian novels. And the what-if scenarios are endless in regards to how police will begin taking guns from citizens of California, or how feuding family members will use the state law as their own personal tool of oppression. While Assembly Bill number 1014 has a clause in it which states that it is a misdemeanor to use this law, quote, with the intent to harass, unquote, the burden of proof will be placed on the accused, which makes it nearly impossible to fight without significant monetary and legal resources. I can give you the legal resource right now. It's called the Second Amendment. Period. Disgruntled teens will finally have their revenge on daddy for grounding them over the weekend. Ex-girlfriends or boyfriends now know they can totally have the last laugh. Quote, I heard Uncle Matt say that the Second Amendment is for resisting tyranny, not for hunting. We should call the police, unquote. The wording of the bill also clearly states that not only a family member, but a law enforcement officer, quote, may file a petition requesting that the court issue an ex parte gun violence restraining order enjoining the subject of the petition from having in his or her custody or control, owning, purchasing, possessing, or receiving a firearm or ammunition, unquote. Yet another wide open door for abuse and corruption. Yeah, you gotta have a background check to get ammunition now in California, folks. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The magnitude of rights violations that will stem from this legislation are unimaginable. One thing that we can all depend on, however, is that police officers will largely be immune from this bill, despite showing a willingness to kill or presenting a danger to themselves or those around them. Really? Really? My brother, years and years ago, had a car repossessed because he didn't pay it. And the next day, the Stockton Police Department calls him up and says, hey, Mr. Pierce, do you want to come down and pick up your 357 Magnum? He forgot he locked it in the trunk. So now, California, as I have said numerous times already on my Facebook page, California is now under the auspices and rules and regulations of the United Nations Agenda 21 and their firearms, thing that they had going around, arms trade treaty. That's what it is. So now California's done. I used to say California's in the toilet waiting for somebody to push the handle. Folks, that sucker went into the sewer, okay? California's done, all right, politically. Now, the people there are fantastic. I was born and raised in Stockton, California, a place you don't want to go to even in the daytime in some parts. But people are cool. It's the politics that sucks. And I know for a fact that more than, I would even say a third of California is Hispanic, and probably half of them are illegal. And probably a good 25% of them are in these Mexican drug cartel funded, Fast and Furious funded drug gangs that are on the streets, where they can get guns and trade them all they want without even the law affecting them. See, criminals don't care about laws because they're going to break them anyway. They don't care. So I call on all those Californians who are sick and tired of, Jerry Moonbeam Brown running its damn mouth off and signing all this stuff into law, which is restricting your rights to do anything. Geez, you never know. He may sign a bill that may take away your right to go to the bathroom by yourself. You may need a law enforcement officer in your house watching you pee. This is as bad as it's going to, it's going to get worse, folks, but right now it's bad. And you people in California better get your head out of your ass. I challenge everybody right now. I challenge you. And you can send me information, by the way, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. I challenge each and every single Californian there who's pissed off to go to Sacramento and to surround the Capitol building. Surround it, walk around it. Oh, yeah, just yell, scream, whatever. Is that going to make a difference? I don't know. But I know that your voice will be heard. Don't go out there, no. Go with one thing in mind. Demand that Jerry Brown resign. Hey, you guys kicked out Gray Davis, and then you got somebody worse like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but you know what I mean. Jeez. Anyway. Okay, folks. Bottom of the hour break. I got a half hour left of the show. Thank you for hanging around. FreeAmericaRadio.us. FreeAmericaRadio@USA.com. Telling you the truth without all the bull. The Wayne S. Pierce Show. The Wayne S. Pierce Show.weebly.com. You're listening to the views expressed right here on the Free America Radio Network.
Samo Radio, playing music for free so you can listen longer. Samo.
It's the 5 o'clock drive with Samo.
Monday through Friday, 5 p.m. till 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Hey there, I'm Big Tiny. I'm the host of Big Tiny's Oldies and More. And we're playing music that you just love to hear from the 50s to the 90s. So check us out Monday through Friday and see what we're playing right here on Spreaker.com.
Listen to Angel Clark Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Radio Freedom News Network. RadioFreedom.us.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. For all you independent artists, musicians, and filmmakers, there is a place for you. Radio Rock 92.6 The Blitz. Go to radiorocktheblitz.blogspot.com.
Sharing the truth one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network.
Sarasota's home for R&B and soul. The Razorblade Express with Dave the Rave.
And will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Ah, damn politicians. My mother always told me this country would be screwed if the liberals had their way. The only sanity I get is when I listen to Jeff Wagner on the Conservative Voice, only on the Conservative Radio Network.
Eastland Radio Repertory Theater is looking for you. Are you a voice actor? Do you want to hone your abilities? Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. We are currently looking for voice actors to fill certain character roles in an ongoing radio play in development. Please send your audition clips to Eastland Radio Theater at USA.com. behind the curtain, pushing the buttons and pulling the handles. Live from behind enemy lines in FEMA Region 9. Sharing the truth, one fact at a time. This is the Free America Radio Network. Hey, folks, welcome back. This is the Views Expressed live right here on the Free America Radio Network. It's, of course, if you didn't know already, it's the 1st of October, 2014. How are you? I always like to ask that because you never know. Somebody may at least answer me and say they're doing okay. You know what I mean. Hey, it's hump day. For those keeping count. It's hump day. Hey, there you go. Hey, you know, before the break I talked about California. It's in the toilet, folks. Just face it. Just put it in your little pipe and smoke it there, fellows. Yeah. From theantimedia.org, California governor vetoes bill that would have limited drone use by law enforcement. Carrie Wedler over at antimedia.org. Thank you, Corey. Excuse me. California Democratic Governor Terry Brown recently vetoed a bill passed in the California legislature to regulate the use of drones by law enforcement. In other words, it's unlimited now. They can just use them as much as they want. AB 1327. I'll say that again so you can go to startpage.com, look this up. AB 1327, which would have required a warrant for the government to conduct drone surveillance, passed in both the State Assembly and Senate, would have also mandated that agencies publicly announce their intent to buy and use drones. They would have been required to delete data of most users after a year's time. Brown vetoed the legislation, arguing that, quote, there are undoubtedly circumstances where a warrant is appropriate. The bill's exception, however, appeared to be too narrow and could impose requirements beyond what is required by either the Fourth Amendment or the privacy provisions in the California Constitution. Let me go back up here. I just had a thought. Let me go back up here. He vetoed a bill passed in the California legislature to regulate the use of drones by law enforcement. Okay? Just keep that in mind. The California bill was not unlike many that have been introduced and passed throughout the country. The ACLU tracks state legislation, which began cropping up nationwide in 2013 and often requires warrants. As of 2014, only 13 states had enacted legislation, but even in 2013, when that number was in single digits, the organization said, quote, "It is actually remarkable that many bills were enacted the first session out of the gate, given that legislation often took multiple years to marinate and gain legislator and public support before passing. And what's more remarkable is that these initial laws are, for the most part, very good," unquote. In 2012, Congress passed a law requiring the FAA to write regulations allowing the expansion of domestic drones. These eventual regulations included use by law enforcement, universities, hobbyists, and private businesses. But by November 2013, over 80 law enforcement agencies had agreements with the FAA to fly drones. The FBI has admitted to using domestic drones, as has the Department of Homeland Security. In spite of serious safety concerns, the Pentagon also intends to expand its domestic drone operation to at least 110 bases in 39 states by 2017. Let me cut in here, folks, and say this. Nevada, I believe it's up north here, near where I'm broadcasting from in Reno, Nevada. there's going to be a drone base. Oh, and by the way, it's already out there as of a couple of years ago, maybe a year or so ago, that there will be 30,000 drones in the air by 2020. Okay? Startpage.com, go look that one up. Governor Brown's decision to veto AB 1327 follows substantial outrage at the Los Angeles Police Department's acquirement of 2 drones from the Seattle Police Department in May of this year. Following a Los Angeles Kings hockey game in June where members of the crowd knocked a drone out of the sky, the LAPD denied it was theirs, citing a lockdown of their 2 unmanned aerial vehicles at a federal facility. Why is the LAPD using a federal facility if they are a city-wide police department? Interesting. Nevertheless, amid protests in September, it further grounded its drones until policies for use are drafted and approved by the police commissioner. The vetoed California bill's author, Republican Jeff Gorel, warned that the legislature will likely move to impose a moratorium on the use of drones in the state, as several other states have done. This may represent a better course of action, as protesters of drone surveillance in Los Angeles argued earlier this month that even AB 1327 did not do enough. According to KTLA, Hamid Khan of the Stop LAPD Spying Coalition said, quote, "The exceptions to obtaining a warrant in the bill were so broad that, quote, you could fly a drone through them, unquote, unquote." This is the opposition. This is the opposite reasoning of Governor Jerry Brown, who felt the exceptions were too restrictive against law enforcement. Still, Gorel said, quote, "We're increasingly living in a surveillance society as the government uses new technology to track and watch activities of Americans. It is disappointing that the governor decided to side with law enforcement in this case over the privacy interests of California," unquote. Okay? Just saying. Just putting it out there, folks. It's out there. I mean, seriously. Here we are in a police state. Yeah, wake up, folks. Hello? Hitler wasn't this bad, okay? Makes him look like a freaking choir boy in church. You know what I'm saying? Now, here we are. We have a police state where surveillance is the key to the government's intrusion upon our persons, properties, you name it. And now we have California who just said, well, you know, if your neighbor or a police officer deems that you are going to be harming someone else or yourself, we're going to take away your guns temporarily. Yeah, temporarily my ass. We live in a country that is completely and totally upside down. And I can tell you right now, I'm imagine this for a minute. Let me send you into this scenario. Let's just say if the founding fathers of this great nation we call the United States were ever able to come back and go to the White House in Washington, D.C., number one, they wouldn't be allowed on the property. Number two, Secret Service would keep them out of there. Number three, the military would want to blow them up. Number four, the ACLU will, probably sue them because they're extremists. Okay? But if they could come back to life and go to Washington, D.C., I can tell you right now that Abraham Lincoln would walk up to Barack Obama and say, "What the hell are you doing? I freed you. What the hell are you enslaving these people for? And by the way, you're not even a damn citizen." Okay? I don't know if that's what he would say, but I can tell you right now that George Washington would walk up to John Kerry, Secretary of State, and kick his ass clean down the halls of Congress. I can tell you that Thomas Jefferson would look at John Boehner, smile, punch that little sucker in the face. Even though these people founded this, put together all of these things that we have prior to 1871. And they said, this is what the people want. And we're going to help them by protecting their country with our military. But their states have militias, so that's okay too. And they have a right to keep and bear arms. The citizens do. That's fine. That's okay. That's fine. Okay. Ratified December 15th, 1791, 15 years after our separation from another tyrannical country. And now we got this. Now think about this, folks. Think about this. We wake up every day. We look outside. We see the neighborhood. We go to work. We talk to our coworkers. We do our jobs. We come home. We have a family. Great. Okay. We on the same page? But imagine for a moment a what-if scenario. You're out mowing your lawn. You're taking care of your property, and all of a sudden you see MRAPs and military vehicles and militarized law enforcement coming down your street. And you see them set up at certain points in your neighborhood. What goes through your mind at that moment? Will that ever happen? Let's hope not. But if things go the way they are, I wouldn't doubt that for a minute. Okay? Wouldn't doubt that for a minute. Because it will happen. It will happen. There's no doubt about that. It will happen. So, what are you going to do about it? Now, I mentioned this yesterday on the show as well. And you can go to Free America Radio on Facebook. I will put this article back at the top of the page so you will see it. Actually, let's do this. Now, I told you that news has it that someone in Dallas has contracted Ebola. And schools have been shut down, and some students have been told to stay home because apparently this guy was in contact with some of these kids. They don't know who it is, and they're not giving details. But imagine for a moment a whole city of about 2 million people locked down, quarantined. The Watchers Atarelli or whatever the heck it is .com. It's on the top of Free America Radio on Facebook. Sierra Leone announces indefinite citizen lockdown. 2 million people forced into endless quarantine as food prices skyrocket. High-density population areas of Sierra Leone have just been locked down in the largest pandemic quarantine in history, and it's already causing a collapse of the food delivery infrastructure. The local government says forced isolation orders will remain in effect until Ebola is eradicated. This essentially means that millions of people are now under a state of military quarantine until they either become immune to Ebola or die from it. This was posted the 26th of September, 2014. So there you go, folks. There you go. So what is it going to be like here? What are we looking at? If you look back in the history of the United States of America and the pandemics that went through this country, holy crap, we became a much better nation from it. We got immune from a lot of this stuff. But not so much in Europe. Or back in the 1800s or something like that. It was the bubonic plague, same thing that we have now. Except it killed a lot of people. Millions of people. Remember that? Remember reading that in history? Is that going to happen here in the U.S.? Oh, let's hope not, because we have much better technology now. And I wouldn't doubt that a small town of about 300, 400, maybe 500,000 people get locked down through military quarantine. Don't know where, don't know when, don't know if it's going to happen, but let's just make sure it doesn't. If you work in the medical field, I'd like to know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. I really want to know, man. What's going on? How are people dealing with this? Are they just, I'm going to go to work, I'm not worried about it? Because they think the government's going to take care of it, right? No. Let me tell you. The government doesn't give a rat's ass about you or anything you want, period. End of sentence. All they care about is giving their elite friends that control Washington, D.C. everything they want. Which is handing the United States of America over to the United Nations to put us under their charter, essentially eradicating the United States of free and sovereign citizens and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights of the United States of America. By the way, we are already in a new world order, according to, what was his name? Now I gotta go look. Well, let me do this here. I gotta take notes for this show, folks. Oh, yeah. I know who it is. It is, well, as soon as I go back here and do this. Shoot. I gotta. Whoops. Things that start automatically. Crap. Jordan Maxwell. Yeah. According to Jordan Maxwell, the New World Order, basically, the United States has been under martial law literally, technically, since 1933 and the New Deal. That has never been rescinded. That has never been repealed. We have been in a New World Order since the 1960s, when other executive orders have been put into place, and other things as well. But go check out Jordan Maxwell. I'm going to go put this up on the Free America Radio Facebook page. So what do we do, folks? Everybody, and I get emails, I get people asking me, well, you got a lot going, you say a lot, but where's the solutions? Folks, you got to figure that out for yourself. Because I'm not going to sit there and give you a silver platter answer. Because one size don't fit all. And you have to figure out what's right for you and follow your own conscience. Okay? I can tell you. But what's the point? I know the solution. But I don't think anybody has the balls or the backbone to go do it. Hell, if somebody, if a group of people said to me, hey, we want you to lead us into a rebellion. First of all, let's think about this for a minute, folks. We just don't want to go off half-cocked and emotional and just start doing stuff. Well, that's just ridiculous. I don't want that. But I do challenge people to go to Washington, D.C. and make your presence known. And if you live in California, go to Sacramento and surround that house and just say, look, we want you to leave now. Oh, yeah. He won't, obviously, until somebody goes in there and rips him out of his chair and says, you don't belong here. That's called a coup, folks, if you haven't figured that one out yet. The militia, along with the sheriff in Sacramento County, the sheriff in Sacramento County is the highest law enforcement official in that county. Everybody else answers to him. And if he calls up the militia or if he calls up the National Guard, which he has a constitutional right to do, and he goes into the state capitol and says, Mr. Governor, Mr. Brown, you are no longer governor, and we will take over. And we will do this in the interim. We will have this person be governor, and we will repeal every single law that you have had. That's legal, by the way. Go read the Constitution of the United States of America. Go read the Declaration of Independence. We have an obligation and a duty, and it is protected to do that. If we don't like the government that is currently running things, we have the obligation and duty to change that. And if that means we go and implement a coup against our leaders, that's exactly what we're going to do. But I don't support, I don't condone violence in any way. So think about what you're doing first, because I do support defense for the benefit of the people involved. And if the opposition doesn't give a crap and wants to inflict harm upon the citizens, well, then guess what? We have a God-given right to protect ourselves. And if we don't like the government that oversees the operation of our state or country, we have the obligation and duty under the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution of the United States of America to get rid of that government, period. Okay? Yeah, it's a hard thing to do. Yes, it's difficult. Yes, it's going to be, harsh. But do you think those people that sat around in 1775, 1776, do you think they sat around saying, well, maybe we shouldn't do this? Maybe, no, they had the guts to get up off their ass and go protect their country and to go do something. Do you think the people in 1871 sat around going, I ain't going, I don't want to fight this Civil War, no. No, but while in, fighting, people went AWOL and left. That's history. Go look it up, folks. That's history. It's plain and simple. It's right in your face, but you're not seeing it and you're not accepting it. So guess what? You're going to suffer because of the lack of intelligence that you have in understanding what is going on around you, because you're too damn busy wondering who's going to win Dancing with the Stars. Okay? Now, I got to go here in about a minute and a half, so let me give you this. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, or even if you disagree with me, hey, come on, man. Email me, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. I will reply. I will. No one's emailed me yet, so hey, freeamericaradio@usa.com, freeamericaradio@usa.com. And, tell me how you're, what you're feeling and all of that. And, it's one of those things. Go to freeamericaradio.us and, and check it out, man. Go to the news page. I got some things up there as well. Oh, that music tells me I gotta leave. Okay. Well, I'll get out of here then. So anyway, yes, freeamericaradio@usa.com. freeamericaradio@usa.com is the email address. freeamericaradio.us is the web page. If you want to support Free America Radio Network, please do. I take donations. If you want to sponsor the show, you can do that. If you please get your emergency food supply right there at freeamericaradio.us at the top of the page. In the meantime, folks, remember this. Remember this. I always like leaving people with this. It just kind of helps, I guess. We the people have the power, for we are America.